Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm sorry I cannot be at school today. I really wish that I could. We're going to try and do the things via video that I would have talked about in class today. But last night, I guess it would have been Wednesday night, so not last night for you guys, but last night for me. Throw up everywhere. Okay, not from me, from my kid, and it was bad. So um, staying home again. Daycare's closed. It's just a whole ordeal. I really wish I was at school with you guys. Hopefully, I'll see you next week. But anyways, let's talk. Let's talk chemistry. Okay, so you guys should have watched a couple of videos about what we're going to talk about today. My plan in class was to go over just real quick some of the things in those videos. So we're going to do that here in this video, okay? The nice thing about this is that you can pause it, write down anything that you want that I'm talking about, go back and listen to me talk again. I'll try and give you a little bit of a different perspective or a little different idea of what's going on. And then I'll also post another video where I do a couple of example problems for balancing equations. And those examples will come directly from your worksheet that you'll be assigned today. Okay, so first off, just a couple of things about chemical reactions in terms of vocabulary. Okay, so we have the things on the left-hand side of, there we go. Okay, so we have the things on the left-hand side of our arrow, and we call these reactants. Okay, these are the things that are reacting. That makes sense. Okay, the things over here on the right side, we call them products because those are the things that get produced. Simple. Okay, reactants on the left, products on the right. And then we have our arrow. We call that the yields arrow, or to produce it. These things react to produce these things. Okay, just some vocab so that you know what I'm talking about as we go through these. Okay, I'm going to talk about different types of reactions here. You should hopefully already have some video or some notes on the previous videos about these. So just pause and write down whatever you need to. I'll kind of go through these kind of quickly. I like to talk about types of reactions in terms of relationships. Okay, sorry if that's a tender subject for anybody, but when I was in college, I was an RA, which means I oversaw dorm floors and handled any issues or problems or troubles that came up. And through my experiences as an RA, there was lots of relationship drama, whether it be on my floor or on other floors involving people from my floor, okay? So kind of put yourself into that frame of mind when we talk about these reactions. So I call a synthesis reaction the get-together reaction, okay? So you can write that down if you want to. I call this the get-together reaction because we got a nice old guy and a nice little lady, and we're coming together, and they meet up at lunch or they meet up in class, and they get together, and they are synthesized into a couple. Okay, so they come together, and that's fairly simple, right? Two simpler things coming together to form something more complex and more complicated. Decomposition reaction. I call this the breakup reaction. Okay, so the lovely couple that came together in the synthesis reaction is now upset at each other. Somebody's doing something they're not supposed to, or maybe they just don't see eye to eye anymore. Okay, and so something more complex gets broken apart into two more simpler substances. Okay, the breakup reaction. It's a sad one. Okay, and now this one, I call this the drama reaction. Okay, we call it the single displacement or single replacement, one of the two, either or. Okay, so here we got A and B. These guys are roommates. Okay, and roommate B has this lady friend that he's seeing, and because they're roommates, A and B and C are all hanging out together, and maybe A and C are roommates. Like we don't want A and B coming together. So maybe A and C are roommates over here, okay? And so B comes in, and we're all happy and hanging out, and B decides that maybe she wants to get rid of C and kick him to the curb and come over here and get with A. And that starts drama. Okay, so this is the drama reaction. And we can, oh, hey, A and B and C, look at that. Okay, so this is a single displacement where there's only one switch. There's only one partner involved in the switch. Okay, now here's where we get really complicated in terms of our relationships. Okay, so if we're talking double replacement, we've got, let's just say, A and C are roommates again. And let's even say that B and D are roommates if we're talking major drama here. So I call this one the double drama reaction because there's a lot of drama going on in this whole relationship scenario. Okay, so A and B are together, they're all happy. C and D are together, they're happy for the time being. Okay, and since A and C are roommates, B and D are roommates, everybody hangs out together quite a bit, maybe a little too much if we're talking in real terms, right? Because A and D start to talk and they start to kind of get a little feel for each other, and then B and C also kind of behind the scenes start to talk and get a little feel for each other, and maybe they decide that they want to switch things up, and so A and B break it off and C and D break it off. And then the double drama happens, right? And so then we get A and D coming together. The opposites, they're going to just switch. And C and B are coming together. They're switching. And now we have some major drama going on in this room between these roommates, between A and C. And then we have major drama going on between B and D in that room. And it's just a mess. And so this is where my job as an RA would get really complicated. Okay, so double replacement, we call it the double drama reaction, where things are really getting confusing and tense, and it's just a not good situation. Okay, so those are the first four. And this last one, this is kind of a stretch when we talk about relationships, but hey, I'm an accepting person. I welcome all types of lifestyles and relationship styles. You do you, it's not my business, right? Okay, so combustion reactions, they're identified by having oxygen and a hydrocarbon, or a carbon plus a hydrogen combined together. And the products, the things on the right hand side, are going to be carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so that's kind of the technical chemistry portion of this. That's how you're going to identify this. You got oxygen here, you got a hydrocarbon, you produce carbon dioxide and water. Those are the things you're looking for, but you already know that because you watched the previous video. Okay, let's talk about the relationship between all these people. So we have C and H, and C and H are in a happy relationship, and O here is coming along as just kind of this free-spirited, new to college, want to try to experiment and maybe just make some new friends along the way, right? And so C and H, this happy couple, befriends this O, this mysterious O who's trying to make some friends and gain a new perspective in college. And then they get to talking, and secretly C maybe has some feelings for O, and maybe H also has some feelings for O, and people are embracing that college lifestyle, right? And who knows, it could happen. And so C and H are kind of falling apart, and they break up, and they C then O comes over here and gets with oxygen. Okay, and so C is happy with oxygen, and then H also comes over here and gets with oxygen, but oxygen's a little sneaky, and oxygen doesn't tell C, and it doesn't tell H that it's already involved with somebody else. And so this is we could call it let's call it the home wrecker reaction. Home wrecker reaction, because oxygen's coming in here and wrecking things up for carbon and hydrogen. All right, so again, just some real quick, that's you can pause this at any time and write down some of these notes if you want to. these types of reactions. Let's talk about some balancing things, okay? The law of conservation of matter. Law of conservation of matter means you cannot destroy or create matter. It's all already there, okay? And I think we talked about this a little bit in first semester. But in terms of balancing equations, what this means is that the number and type of atoms on the left side of the reaction should be the same as on the right side of the reaction. Okay, so if I have 2 oxygens on the left, I have to have 2 oxygens on the right for this reaction to be legit, okay, for it to be balanced. If I have 2 oxygens on the right and I have 4 oxygens on the left, that's not balanced, okay? And so then we'd have to arrange some things and change some things so that we can balance this reaction, okay? Here's just kind of the steps, and you can pause this and write it out if you want to, but you should know these as you go, okay? So I want to get to this page, some hints and helpful situations. The biggest thing, the one you have to remember, is this last one right here. You can never change a subscript when you balance equations, okay? Subscripts are the small numbers, like this 3 and the 4 down here, okay? And this 3 and that 2 right there. You cannot change those at all. The only thing that you can add or change is big numbers out in front. We call those coefficients, okay? Same thing, like if you have 2x, 2 is the coefficient in math, right? And so you can only change the coefficients. You cannot change the subscripts, okay? A helpful hint here is that if you have an element that appears more than once on the same side of the equation, save that till the end, okay? Those get really complicated. A lot of times they'll take care of themselves almost, and then all you have to do is one simple change or something like that. But if you try and start with them at the beginning, oxygen or hydrogen, those are usually the 2 common ones. If you try and start with them, it gets a little fuzzy, okay? Polyatomic ions, we haven't talked about those a whole lot, but that's something like NO3, that's nitrate, or PO4 is phosphate. And so we would treat that as one thing. We don't want to break that up into N and O unless we absolutely have to. So we're going to try and balance what we call PAIs, or polyatomic ions, as one thing. Okay, and then there's things called diatomic elements like oxygen and hydrogen that exist as H2 and O2. But those shouldn't be too much of an issue for you. We don't want to, we'll go through that. I'll give you some. Okay, so the next video for today is going to be some examples on balancing. All right.